Right, we now come to the 10-minute rule motion. Andrew Griffiths.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker, and I beg to move that leave be given to bring in a bill to entitle women aged 40 and under with a family history of breast cancer to breast cancer screening services and for connected purposes. And can I begin by placing on record my thanks to the charity Breast Cancer Now, who have given me such a great amount of support in preparing this bill. Can I thank the Honourable Member for North Warwickshire and the APPG on breast cancer for his support, to all of those MPs cross-party who are backing it. In fact, even I think the whip on duty today, the Honourable Lady from Bury St Edmunds, is a two-time champion, a two-time survivor of breast cancer, and so this issue affects so many in this House, and I'm grateful for such great support for it. Madam Deputy Speaker, I was moved to introduce this bill thanks to an incredible young lady called Nicola Morgan Dingley. Nicola was one of the most inspiring young women I've ever met. She was a healthy 36-year-old non-smoking, marathon-running wife and mum when she was diagnosed with triple-negative breast cancer, or as she called it on her blog, the killer boob. She came to see me not just about her own care, but about the care of all those other young women across the country. She had a passion and a calmness and a sense of spirituality that I've rarely seen in anyone, and it's impossible not to want to help the young lady. I raised Nicola's campaign with the Prime Minister at PMQs, and we went off together to see the Health Secretary about her campaign to ensure that young women got early screening and early detection that could save their lives. And after that meeting, as we sat on the terrace later and Nicola enjoyed a glass of wine and we put the world to rights, I would never have guessed that just 2 weeks later, at the age of just 38, Nicola would lose her battle with breast cancer. So I'm here today as a tribute to Nicola, to carry on her campaign with what I'm calling Nicola's Law. Madam Deputy Speaker, the good news is that we are winning the war on cancer. More women are now surviving the disease than ever before. But breast cancer remains the leading cause of death in women under 50 in England and Wales, with over 920 women under 50 losing their lives to the disease in 2017. Breast cancer is the UK's most common cancer, with around 55,000 women and 350 men, because it's not just women, being diagnosed each year in the UK. And it's estimated that around 5 to 15% of cases are linked to a family history of the disease. We all know, Madam Deputy Speaker, that the sooner a cancer is identified, the sooner treatment can begin, and the greater chance of the patient surviving. So early detection is surely a vital part of any national strategy to help reduce breast cancer deaths. Recently, Professor Gareth Evans, funded by Breast Cancer Now, undertook a major UK trial which provided the strongest evidence yet that women aged 35 to 39 in particular, at a moderate or high risk of developing breast cancer, could benefit from annual screening, and that screening these women yearly could pick up tumours earlier. The study found that tumours were picked up through screening. Most were smaller in size and were less likely to spread to lymph nodes compared to women who weren't screened. And as my honourable friend from Lewis pointed out, often this is an opportunity also to screen for ovarian cancer, which is often linked to the same gene, and so it's an important opportunity. We know that women with a family history of breast cancer have a higher risk of breast cancer themselves and are more likely to get breast cancer at a younger age than those without such a history. The degree of extra risk varies according to whether breast cancer was diagnosed among first-degree relatives, such as parents, siblings or child, second-degree relatives, such as grandparent, aunt or uncle or half-sibling, or mutual family members. Breast cancer risk is also inherited from the father's side of the family. Familial breast cancer tends to be more aggressive than non-familial breast cancer. Prognosis also appears to be partly hereditary. Women whose mothers died of breast cancer are often more likely to die from it, even adjusting for the tumour characteristics. So we know, Madam Deputy Speaker, that women who have breast cancer in the family are more likely to develop it and to develop the more aggressive form, and we know that detecting breast cancer early gives women the best possible chance to survive. So, based on a thorough assessment of the available evidence, the National Institute for Health and Care Excellence, or NICE as we all know it, recommends that women with a confirmed family history of breast cancer should be offered annual mammograms from age 40, and that women at highest risk may also be offered MRI scans from age 30. But it is that one word, Madam Deputy Speaker, that literally means life or death to some women. May. Because we know that not all young women are offered that screening. Despite all the evidence, young women are not getting screened. Not all women who have a family history of breast cancer are getting access to extra breast screening currently recommended by NICE. And we need to ask ourselves, why is this happening when it can save their life? NICE guidelines are not uniformly being implemented across the country, and we need to take action to tackle that. And that's because there is a lack of clarity over the provision of family history clinics. Only some women at the highest level of risk receive family history screening through the National Breast Screening Programme, while some other women at high risk and those at moderate risk may, and again it's that word may, receive their family history screening through local family history services instead. But some may not receive it at all, and it's those young women that this bill aims to help. This inconsistent provision of screening is risking their lives. Because of where you live and the treatment available, some young women will have their breast cancer spotted early and treated, and some may not. Some will survive and others will not. And imagine if it were your wife or your daughter or your granddaughter who you had to bury because in their town, in their area, this early screening wasn't available. And the reality is that neither I, nor the Secretary of State, nor NICE, nor the Minister actually know the scale of the hole in this provision. If the Minister does, then I'd be interested to hear it. But from everything that I'm being told, there is a lack of national oversight of family history screening for women at all levels of risk, which may result in women not being able to access screening in some areas, and we just don't know where and why. This issue may be exacerbated by the fact that some family history clinics which assess and support women with a family history could be at risk of closure. Those clinics are not supported by national funding, and there is a lack of clarity over the current governance arrangements for the provision of these services. It is possible that as a result, some clinical commissioning groups may choose to stop funding family history clinics in their area. I am sure the Minister will agree that this cannot be allowed to happen. So this 10-minute rule bill is intended to strengthen oversight of family history services for women with a family history of breast cancer by introducing a duty on the Secretary of State for Health to ensure that rigorous and transparent implementation of current NICE family history guidelines takes place. The purpose of this is to ensure that every woman in the country with a family history is able to access services to which it is proven life-saving benefit and entitlement, regardless of where they live. And it requires for NHS England to provide clarity on the current governance arrangements for the provision of services for women with a family history of breast cancer, including the obligations CCGs have for funding family history clinics. Thanks to Nicola, I've met or corresponded with what she called her warriors. I've been astounded at how they support each other through these difficult times, in person, online, in chat rooms. And I was humbled to see so many of them at Nicola's funeral, still supporting her and still supporting each other. They are watching in today, and they want action. So I beg the Minister to support this bill, to help deliver Nicola's law, and to help save the lives of thousands of young women to come in the future. Thank you.
Yeah. The question is that the honourable member have leave to bring in the bill. As many as are of that opinion say aye. Aye. Of the contrary, no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. Who will prepare and bring in the bill?
Mr Steve Bryan, Fiona Bruce, Maria Caulfield, Marion Fellows, Caroline Harris, Anna Soubry, Craig Tracy, Anne-Marie Trevelyan and myself, Madam.
Andrew Griffiths.
Here.
Breast cancer screening, women under 40 bill.
Tomorrow.
Second reading what day?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Thank you.